Okay, let's try a little thought experiment. Imagine you're heading out for a night at the theater. Good play, you're looking forward to it. Ticket costs, say, $10. You got that.
$10, got it.
Right. So, scenario one, you've already bought the ticket. It's like in your wallet. You get to the theater, reach for it, and oh no, it's gone. You lost the ticket itself.
Ugh, that feeling.
Yeah, exactly. So the question is, would you buy another $10 ticket right then and there? You've already paid once. Think about it.
Tough one.
Okay, hold that thought. Now, scenario two. Different situation. You're heading to the theater, same play, still excited. But this time, you haven't bought the ticket yet.
Okay.
You reach into your pocket to grab your cash, and you realize you've lost a $10 bill. Just poof, gone. The cash is missing, not the ticket.
Right.
Would you still go ahead and buy that $10 theater ticket?
Interesting.
Isn't it? Because financially, it's identical, right? In both cases, you're out $10.
Yeah, the bottom line is the same. $10 loss.
But I bet for most people listening, those two situations feel really different. That little voice in your head may be screaming, "No way!" in one case, and, "Oh, bummer, but okay," in the other.
Absolutely. And that feeling, that intuitive gap, isn't just random. It points to something pretty fundamental about how our brains work.
And that's what we're diving into today, right? These fascinating quirks and how we make decisions, especially how we process loss and how that affects everything. Daily choices, big negotiations, all of it.
Exactly. That difference you likely felt. It's rooted in some really powerful psychological principles. Things like loss aversion, reference appendance, the endowment effect. These were concepts brilliantly explored by Daniel Kahneman and Amos Tversky. You might know them from Thinking Fast and Slow.
Oh, yeah, Kahneman, Nobel Prize winner.
That's the one. Their 1984 paper, Choices, Values, and Frames, really laid a lot of this groundwork.
So this isn't just trivia.
Not at all. Our mission today is really to unpack this stuff. It's not just about, understanding why we feel weird about the lost ticket. It's about seeing how these biases operate all the time.
And how they can be used.
That too. How they are used sometimes deliberately, in persuasion, in negotiation.
Yeah.
We're going to touch on what the source material even calls the dark side of negotiation. Understanding this stuff, well, it can change how you see decisions.
Okay, so let's circle back to that theater ticket. You mentioned Kahneman and Tversky actually ran this experiment.
Yeah.
What happened? What were the results?
Yeah, the results are striking. So in that first scenario where you lost the ticket you already bought,
The one you paid for?
right? Only 46% of people said they would buy another ticket. Less than half.
Wow, so more than half just went home, even though they wanted to see the play.
Apparently so.
Mm-hmm.
The feeling of paying twice for the same thing was just too much for them.
Okay, so what about the other group? The ones who lost the $10 bill before buying?
Now, here's where it gets really fascinating. In that group, a massive 88% still went ahead and bought the ticket.
88%. Compared to 46.
Exactly. It's the same $10, gone, same place, same price. But the willingness to spend the money again, totally different.
That's
Yeah.
kind of nuts. I mean, logically, it makes no sense. If the money's gone, it's gone. What is going on there? What drives that huge gap?
Well, it really boils down to how our brains frame value and loss. It's not just one thing. It's usually a mix of related ideas.
Okay, break it down for us.
Let's start with something called reference dependence. Basically, our brains don't evaluate things in isolation like, this ticket is worth $10. Instead, we judge things based on a starting point, a reference point.
Okay. Like where we are now versus where we could be.
Sort of.
Yeah.
In scenario one, you already bought the ticket. Your reference point was, I possess this ticket. Losing it feels like a direct loss, a step down from that reference point. It's like a specific account in your mental ledger just got depleted.
Ah, I see. The theater ticket account.
Pretty much. But in scenario two, you just lost cash. General funds. You hadn't mentally assigned that specific $10 to the ticket yet. So losing the cash feels like, well, just having less money overall, not like losing the ticket itself. The reference point for the purchase wasn't quite set.
Okay, that makes sense. Losing the thing feels worse than losing the money for the thing.
Exactly. And that feeling, that worse feeling, that brings us to loss aversion. This is a big one. Kahneman and Tversky found that psychologically, the pain of a loss is roughly twice as powerful as the pleasure of an equivalent gain.
Twice as powerful. Wow.
Yeah. So losing that $10 ticket you felt you owned hurts way more than the potential pleasure you lost by not having $10 extra cash. We are fundamentally wired to avoid losses more than we are driven to seek gains.
So the fear of losing something we have is a stronger motivator.
Much stronger. And that ties into the third piece, the endowment effect.
Endowment effect. Okay, what's that?
It's our tendency to overvalue things simply because we own them, or even just feel like we own them.
Like my old comfy chair is worth way more to me than someone else would pay for it.
Precisely. Once you bought that theater ticket, it wasn't just a piece of paper worth $10, it became your ticket. You endowed it with extra value because it was yours. You might have pictured yourself enjoying the show already.
Right, created a mental connection.
Exactly. So losing your ticket feels like a much bigger loss than simply being $10 poorer before you even made the purchase.
Hmm.
These three things reference dependence, loss aversion, endowment effect. They all kind of weave together to explain that huge 46% versus 88% difference.
Mm.
It shows how our choices aren't always purely rational, are they?
Not even close, it seems. Wow. Okay, so these aren't just quirks that trip us up buying theater tickets. You mentioned this applies in bigger situations like negotiation and influence. How does that work?
Yeah, this is where it gets potentially manipulative. Understanding these biases isn't just academic, it's a tool.
Yeah.
And it can be used strategically.
How
Well,
so?
think about it. If people hate losses roughly twice as much as they like gains,
Mm.
what does that suggest if you're trying to persuade someone?
Oh. Frame what you want them to do as avoiding a loss rather than achieving a gain.
Got it. The source material puts it quite bluntly. If you manage to link the option that doesn't suit you to the fear of a loss for your counterpart, you greatly increase the chances they'll choose the other option, the one that works for you.
Whoa. Okay, that
Oh,
sounds.
it's a bit sneaky.
Yeah.
It taps right into that loss aversion.
Yeah.
A skilled influencer or negotiator knows that framing something as, you risk losing X if you don't do this, is often far more powerful than saying, you stand to gain Y if you do this.
Even if X and Y are objectively equivalent.
Often, yes. Preventing a perceived loss just triggers a stronger emotional and therefore behavioral response.
Mm.
People will work harder, take more risks sometimes, just to avoid feeling like they've lost something.
So instead of choose option A and get this benefit, it's more like if you choose option B, you'll miss out on this or you'll lose that.
Exactly. Or even more directly, choosing B leads to this negative consequence. Think about sales tactics. Limited time offer, don't miss out. That frames not buying now as a loss, the loss of the special price.
Right, instead of just highlighting the gain of getting a discount.
Precisely. Or consider political ads. How often do they focus not just on the candidate's promises, but on the alleged losses you'll suffer if the opponent wins? They'll take away your health care. You'll lose your job.
Yeah, that's tapping right into fear of loss.
Deeply. It's leveraging that fundamental bias. Think about free trials for services, too. Once you've used something for 30 days, it feels like yours.
Part of your routine.
Right. Canceling, then, feels like losing the service, not just deciding not to gain it permanently. That's the endowment effect and loss aversion working together. It shifts the decision frame.
So this is what the source means by the dark side of negotiation, using these psychological triggers.
Yeah, that's the idea. It's about understanding these deep-seated human tendencies and, well, using them to guide someone towards an outcome. It's not necessarily about lies, but about framing the truth or potential outcomes in a way that plays on our aversion to loss.
Making the option you don't want them to choose seem like the bigger potential loss.
Exactly. It bypasses pure rational calculation sometimes and hits us right in the gut feeling, that powerful aversion to losing something we perceive as ours or something we want to protect.
It's quite something. We start with a simple lost theater ticket and end up seeing how these deep psychological currents shape so much around us.
It really does.
So we've covered how loss aversion, reference dependence, and the endowment effect can make us act in ways that seem, well, irrational, like refusing to buy a second theater ticket after losing the first. But it's not just about quirks, it's a powerful force in persuasion and negotiation, too.
It is, and recognizing it is the first step, really. Understanding that our decisions are often swayed more by the fear of loss than the prospect of gain.
Which leaves us with a pretty important thought, doesn't it?
I think so. Knowing this, knowing how powerful loss aversion is. How might you, listening right now, start noticing when this is being used? Maybe in an ad you see tonight, or a news headline, or even just a casual conversation.
Yeah, spotting the frame. Is this being presented as a gain I could achieve or a loss I need to avoid?
Exactly. And asking yourself, is that framing designed to nudge my emotions, my aversion to loss, rather than just presenting the facts clearly? Being aware of these subtle pushes and pulls can help you make choices that are, truly your own. It's about reclaiming a bit of that rational space in a world that often tries to trigger our gut reactions. Something to think about.